Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford will win by decision, but urges caution. He recalls Gervonta Davis's warning that Crawford could get into trouble if he engages too much. With Canelo's natural size and power, Stephen A. insists Crawford must rely on defense, speed, and ring IQ instead of trading punches. The analysts agree that strategy, not strength, will decide this fight.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Max Kellerman points out that Crawford's overall skill set looks sharper, giving him a technical advantage. At the same time, he highlights Canelo's granite chin and naturally bigger frame, which give him strength in exchanges. However, recent fights show Canelo has not been as dominant or crisp as in the past, hinting at decline. This frames the matchup as a battle of Crawford's timing versus Canelo's durability.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Mm-hmm. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrim.
Former champion Antonio Tarver openly supports Terence Crawford while acknowledging the massive challenge ahead. He notes Crawford has consistently proven himself across divisions, but this bout is on another level. Tarver stresses it's not only Crawford's toughest test, but also a fight Canelo has never truly faced before.
I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing IQ, believes the opening round will be measured and tactical. He expects both fighters to avoid unnecessary risks, using the round to study movement, timing, and openings. Bradley explains that Crawford prefers patience early, setting traps after seeing what his opponent offers. Canelo also tends to use the first round to gauge distance and make adjustments. For Bradley, the opener will be less about fireworks and more about chess-like strategy.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance. and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's gonna be a real like calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's gonna start applying that pressure. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has faced both Canelo and Crawford, provides a unique perspective. He argues that Crawford has already cemented his legacy at welterweight, but warns that weight divisions exist for a reason. Moving up against naturally bigger fighters is always dangerous. While Khan believes Crawford didn't need to take this risk, he admires the ambition behind it. For him, this fight is either a career-defining triumph or a dangerous gamble that could backfire.
All the build-up, they're nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far, and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy it? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. That he might do really well in there. So look,
regardless, fight them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit. Very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Loeffler views the event from a business standpoint. He explains that Canelo and Crawford are two of the sport's biggest names, each with massive fan bases across nations. Few modern fights can match its magnitude. Loeffler describes it as not only a clash of skills, but a collision of empires, Canelo's reign as boxing's face versus Crawford's rise as pound-for-pound king. He believes the hype is justified, given the rarity of two fighters of this caliber meeting under such high stakes.
Profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Colin Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to the sport is just so sincere. He's so real, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter.
Trainer Dave Coldwell emphasizes Crawford's unique style, especially his ability to switch stances and use footwork to control distance. Coldwell highlights how Crawford's movement creates angles, frustrates opponents, and dictates rhythm. Against a pressure fighter like Canelo, these skills could be crucial. He explains that if Crawford maintains mobility and avoids the ropes, he has the tools to outmaneuver Canelo and score points.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think he's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic, his punch picking is fantastic, he's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up, and he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather focuses on size and weight as decisive factors. He notes that Canelo has long been dominant at super middleweight, a division that perfectly suits his frame. Crawford, by contrast, is stepping into an unnatural weight, which may affect his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather stresses that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in advantage.
Big factor. I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owns. He owns his weight class. So, I mean, and he even went up higher. So, I mean, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. I mean, this guy seems like he's amazing. I mean, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst highlights Canelo's recent struggles with cutting off the ring. In his last few fights, opponents have been able to move freely and avoid his power shots. Against Crawford, who thrives on movement and angles, this flaw could be costly. The analyst insists Canelo must rediscover his ability to trap opponents if he wants to limit Crawford's escape routes.
Have any position to critique and criticize Canelo, but one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight.
Former champion David Haye admits his outlook has changed. Initially, he believed Canelo's size and power made Crawford's chances slim. But after watching Crawford's intense training and sharp technique, Haye now sees him as having a real chance. He confesses that Crawford's preparation has completely altered his perspective.
Beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so the bigger can beat him, good little, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size, so I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it, they're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think, once again, Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, the mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet, mixing it up. It's one of those dream fights, the proper trades fight, that anyone who's interested in boxing wants to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, a former world champion, warns that size alone does not guarantee victory. He believes Crawford's defensive skills will allow him to minimize damage and neutralize Canelo's power. Horn praises Crawford's ability to anticipate punches, roll with shots, and avoid clean hits. If Canelo cannot land effectively, his size advantage becomes less meaningful. Horn concludes that Crawford's defensive discipline and counterpunching precision could be the deciding factor. Finally, a veteran fighter who has studied Crawford closely sums it up. After years of analyzing his growth, preparation, and performances, he simply cannot bet against him. For this fighter, Crawford's mental toughness, consistency, and ability to rise under pressure prove he belongs among the sport's all-time greats. This fight is just another stage to showcase that excellence.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big
I'm gonna go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm gonna live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought. Why did I think you was a DB?
No.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going?
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more. Until next time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.